1979, I'm 15. You look at 1980 and I'm 16, and I see a new leader come to the fore, Ronald Reagan, who comes with a whole different vision for America. You know, he's talking about growth, economic revitalization, getting impediments to growth out of the way. He's talking about national strength at a time when our hostages were held over there in Iran. And that was a message I could connect with. I was the first one in my family to become a Republican. And I will tell you that it was in no small part because of that, that only a few months later, at the age of 17, I enlisted in the United States Army National Guard. And I certainly got love and discipline at home. But I got a whole different kind of love and discipline when I went to Fort Benning, Georgia, basic training. It was good for me. It was really good for me. It was an eye-opener. And, you know, I came back that year, and I became the co-captain and the point guard for the Ichabod Crane basketball team. I tell you that not because of the athletic dimension of it, but because of the leadership that was related to that. You know, my responsibility as the point guard was trying to find the open person so that the team could score, so that we could win. And even now, after all these years later, that mental picture, I recur back to it. And you'll hear it come into my discussions of the campaign. This is our campaign. This is our cause to renew this republic. And we're going to fight hard for that. I have a role. I'm going to take on a role in this to help lead it. But it's going to take our very best efforts all the way across the board. And this is truly an exceptional nation. You know, after Siena College and ROTC, I went on to spend the next 24 years in the United States Army, defending this cherished way of life. And this is a way of life worth defending. And over that time, some incredible highs. And some deep lows, too. I'll share with you. That, you know, I'll tell you some of the highs. I was there that day that Ronald Reagan said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." I was there. My first assignment was in Berlin, Germany. And I was part of Persian Gulf War. And I know there's some vets out here, including the Persian Gulf War. I thank all the vets for their service. Vietnam vets, Korean War vets, even a World War II vet out here. Appreciate all that service. But I was there when we kicked Saddam and the Iraqis out of Kuwait. I was there for the first 3 national elections in Iraq after post 9/11. And I can't adequately describe for you what that was like on those days. Under threat of death, Al-Qaeda had told the Iraqi people to stay home. And under that threat, the Iraqi people, 8 million of them in that first election, came out and were proud to show their purple finger. You know, and how the chills that went up and down my spine when I saw that. And you think of that fact that these people did not, the Iraqi people did not take that emergent democracy for granted. Those were incredible highs. I've also seen some really deep lows. We lost good soldiers over there in combat. May they rest in peace. They're never forgotten. We remember them always, and we think of their families, and we think of those of the wounded, those that lost limb, eyesight, and to those that may not have been physically scarred, that are emotionally scarred. And we stand with them. We stand with them. You know, there wasn't a time that I didn't stand before my troopers, my men and women, and say to them, you know what, there's nothing wrong with reaching out for help. That's why we're here for each other, the fellowship, to be there with each other. And the same with this campaign. This is an exceptional nation. We were founded that way. We were founded different from any other nation. A belief that we could live free. The first country, no king, no queen, no aristocracy, no structure for us except for a limited government, that we could rise to our God-given potential. And look what happened to us. We rose to be the greatest nation in the world. In the history of mankind, there have been rich nations, and there have been free nations, but never in the history of mankind has there been at once a country so rich and so free. And now we find ourselves on troubled times. Yes, indeed, in troubled times. But we've been in troubled times before. You think of Valley Forge, you think of the Depression, you think of the early days of World War II. This country's got what it takes to come out of this. But to do that, we need to make the right choices. And to make the right choices, we need to have the right leaders. And I'm offering myself as a leader in this cause for us to renew this nation. We know what needs to be done. We know that we need to remove the impediments to growth. We're not going to grow our economy from Washington, D.C. with so-called stimulus bills. They will fail and end up adding to our debt. What we have to do is have targeted tax and regulatory relief, and to repeal and replace that health care bill with one that's based on firm free market forces that helps drive down costs. And we need, that's right.